Greetings everyone, and welcome to a review of the Fortnite Battle Royale Collection, Laser Chomp and Suntan Specialist. So, as you can probably tell, I have actually opened this already just because I wanted to mess around with the shark a little bit. So I'm just going to open it up and, yeah, we'll check it out. So, starting with the main reason I was interested in getting this pack, we have the Laser Chomp itself. The main reason I'm excited, or was interested in this at all, to actually get it, is because I actually use the Laser Chomp glider in-game when I play. It's my favourite glider. It's very obviously a reference to Austin Powers, to Aligned by Dr. Evil, and honestly, it's just one of those things where I just really like the look of it. I think it's a really smart little reference. You know, it's smartly named and stuff, Laser Chomp. It works for the entire set as well, which, yeah, I'm not huge on sharks in a general sense, but, like, I do really like this as just a concept. And as a little display item, even regardless of it being, you know, part of this collection, I really like this. It comes with a little bounce pad, which it isn't how it works in-game. It's launch pads that allow you to redeploy gliders. Bounce pads just bounce you up with zero gravity, so it's not exactly accurate, but I can completely just, like, you know, ignore that, pretend that maybe, you know, glider redeploy or the glider item is in the game at the moment or something like that, or, you know, for displays, that could be the case. And I don't know, the stand is really good though. It gives plenty of height for you to actually hang a character off there, and obviously we'll get into the figure, but you can display the figure underneath the shark, gliding, basically. As for the little laser, it is posable. Has a little ball joint, pretty good posability, full rotation if you want. And it does have a projectile in it, and I assume it's supposed to be a flick fire. But it's not really got the retention in it to actually work that well as a flick fire missile, unfortunately. I'm probably going to leave this out for display, but I mean, as a whole, it's not a terrible function. And, yeah, I feel like it should pop in further, it just doesn't. And this is how it was in the packaging. But yeah, if you hit it just right, you can launch it out. Just not very far, really. It's fine. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a terrible waste of the feature. And at the end of the day, it does work for having it be a laser. Though it is supposed to be a laser pointer, so I'm not completely... Well, in-game it's more of a laser pointer, should I say, so I'm not completely sure why they did that, but in any case, other feature, you have the moving tail, which is nice. It's something that it does actually do in-game as it's flying around. It does like a swimming motion, so you can do that pretty well. Just popping it off the stand real quick. So it just has a little peg point there, handles which can be held by the figure, which I'll quickly just show. Just like that one's a bit more difficult to put on. There we go. And yeah, it just works. It's pretty good. You can, you know, move them around a little bit. And, yeah, it's alright. I really like this. I think it's a really fun little play feature. I'd say it's a little bit big, potentially, compared to how it is in the game, compared to the characters. But I wouldn't exactly say it's too much of an issue overall. And, yeah, as I say, on the base, I say it's a bounce pad. Looks pretty good. Details are all about there. There's a bit of blue missing where there should be another arrow. But generally, for what it is, it works for me. Now, moving on to the figure, this is Suntan Specialist, as it said on the packaging, and, yeah, it's not a skin I'm necessarily that interested in. Just going over the, you know, harvesting tool real quick. It's like a floaty sort of thing, like what Lifeguard would use, attached to a paddle. It looks alright, a little, like, worm or something on the end of the rope. Maybe it was a fishing line of some description or some sort of fishing net. And yeah, it looks alright overall. Nice little detail. Peg as always with these sorts of figures. And, yeah, it's not exactly something that interests me, but it does suit the figure, including actually matching the colour scheme almost perfectly. It's pretty good. Then, for the back bling, it's a rubber ring. And, once again, just pegged on the back. Pegged in the dead centre, which is a little unusual for these sort of things. Normally they're pegged towards the top. But it does work very well. It looks very nice. If you have some sort of water scene with these figures, you know, you could definitely just put it on the water, just floating. It would work pretty well. It would work for a few different sceneries that you could do. Whoops. And, yeah, it's alright overall. Once again, matches the colour scheme pretty well, with the red and the white. Looks pretty good, and yeah. The figure itself has a bit of a weird pose, full posability on both arms, not hindered by anything, but realistically you're not going to be moving the arms too much just because of the pose. The head also has rotation, which is very good, full 360, though it is hindered a little bit by a mixture of the hair, jaw, and shoulder sculpt. But generally, looks pretty good. I like the sandals, the shorts are pretty good, the little med pack on it. You know, overall the details are pretty good. More rope, which matches with the back bling. You have a wristband, and then also what looks like a watch. Very cool features. And as I say, the only major issue is that beyond the glider, they don't really have that much use. You can definitely, you know, have him hold the harvesting tool. But I don't really... There's not really an easy or worthwhile pose for it. And generally, I think if I'm going to use this figure in any display, it's going to be hanging from the glider. But yeah, it's still a good figure. It looks very nice. I like the hair and the glasses and stuff. Very nice figure, just not that useful. And on that note, that is going to be the end of this video. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and yeah, tell me what you think of these, like, slightly, you know, off-model ever so slightly, because obviously that's a bounce pad rather than launch pad, the shark's a little bit big, you know, stuff like that. What do you think of that with this line? I actually don't mind it, but it does kind of ruin, like, I think there is another Suntan specialist you can get in a solo pack or a duo pack. I might end up having to get that just to have one that I can display properly. But overall, I'm fine with it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!